Hello everyone, thank you for joining us wherever you are. I'm Gulo from Jadi PNS, will be your host. Now we are with Eva Makandi. She is a Global Landscape Forum Forest Restoration Stewards 2022, and yes, GLF 16 Women Restoring the Earth 2023 from Kenya. Hello Kandi, how are you?
Hi, Gula. I'm very fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. Kandi, thank you so much for joining us, and we are really excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Sure. Kandi, could you please give us a little bit of background on you?
Yes, thank you, Gula, once again. My name is Eva Makandi, as you just said, but I'm commonly known as Kandi, and I'm from Kenya, and I'm a great advocate of education, and I love nature, and I have a background in community development, which is a great passion of mine as well, working with people and trying to collaborate with them to find sustainable solutions to some of the socioeconomic challenges they face. So I just love being with people and just trying to be a helping hand, a
Mhm.
catalyst to sustainable development in communities. That's basically who I am, and I love working with children. As you can hear, my voice sounds more or less like a child, so it's easy working with children, and yeah, that's on an easy note, that's who Kandi is. Yeah.
Wow. And you mentioned about nature. When and where were you when you first realized you love nature and you wanted to fight for it?
Yeah. So I'd say I'm a child of nature. I was my early years, let's say from when I knew I was living, from 2 years to like 7 years. Most of those years I spent with my grandma, who raised my brother and myself. And we were in a rural setup. Uh, she was a great lover of nature. She was a farmer. She was also an educationist. And like basically, we grew around nature. We had so many fruits. We had different types of domesticated animals, from cows to geese to just so many animals and so many different fruits. I think basically everything we cooked came from her farm. So I just grew a love of nature from my childhood. Like I grew around nature. So it just came automatically. I just loved nature. I loved the bird chips. Like those were our morning alarms and our wake up tunes. And that's where my love for nature grew. And also my mom is an enthusiast. She loves flowers. Like our home is covered, like has so many different flowers. You know, that person who, if she goes to a wedding somewhere and sees nice flowers in a different garden, she will follow through and find like a cutting to go plant at home. So we have so many flowers from, and she will always share with you, this flower I got it from this place. This, so she just loves flowers, and also she loves farming. So I think I've just grown around people who are truly passionate about nature, basically. So and how and when I learned I really wanted to fight for youth was in 2020 during the whole COVID pandemic season. And I, over the past like 10 to 15 years, I had seen how my community's environment had degraded. Like, let's say if it's the decrease in the forest cover to trees,
Mhm.
to hearing my mom complain and say that harvests were failing, and also going and seeing like rivers dry up and the green slowly changed to brown. Honestly, and based on my now background and uh, the education I had received back in school, it was clear like there was climate change affecting us. We are not exempted from the global effect of climate change. And also, we had also contributed to some of these challenges that were happening in the community. And that was the time now when I started off LOAH with a main intention of trying to find sustainable solutions to restore back the environment I grew around, and so that the younger generation at least could grow up knowing some of the beauty I grew around. So yeah, that's my love and interest in trying to do something good for nature came from.
Thank you, Kandi. You founded the light on a hill or LOAH. Would you like to explain more about LOAH, please?
Yes. So Light on a Hill, the name itself, comes from a place in 2020. Of course, I know the whole world was in a really dark place with the whole pandemic, not knowing what the future holds. And also, as a person, I was not in a good place. I was in a dark place with, I would say, existential crisis. Um, and Light on a Hill I founded it together with my friend from a place of trying to find hope and trying to find light in my life. And for a long time, I felt that I had not been doing from a workplace something I loved, like just being with people. And Light on a Hill was that place I hoped would give me a chance to do something I loved and mostly interact with people and feel that I'm genuinely contributing to change in the world. So that was the main reason. And it was just, I don't know if it's a metaphor, like, you know how we say we go through mountains, like hard, we somehow compare mountains to hardships. So like the hill was more or less, there will be hope, the light beyond the hill, like light on the hill, there's hope on the hill despite everything. And so far we're now going to 3 years, and I would say that without a doubt, Light on a Hill has been the biggest light in my life. I love what I do, and it makes me so happy. And I hope that it's also inspiring other people to see light and find hope despite the challenges they're facing, and more contributing to positive change in my community. That now I'll talk more about. Yeah.
So you founded LOAH on September 20.
Yes, September 2020.
Well,
Yes.
until now, I bet it's not an easy work how, to build something. What inspired you to
Mm.
start building LOAH?
What inspired me is basically being the change I hope to see in the world. And that hope is the change is being a reason for someone to smile, or more or less for Earth and nature to know that all is not lost despite all the crises we're talking about, climate change, global warming, and all that. I felt that there's still something we can do to heal nature, to heal our planet. And that was my main inspiration, to just give people hope away from, yes, there's this pandemic that has created a lot of difficulty in everyone's life in one way or another. There's also all this failure maybe in agriculture. I come from a community that greatly relies on agriculture for their livelihoods. So already the agriculture was doing poorly. There's all this pandemic, and like it seemed like all hope was lost. But my motivation was to just, in my own very small or big way, to just be a light to people, to know that all hope was not lost, and that if we come together and work together, there is a solution beyond all this darkness there is. So that was my main motivation and inspiration to working and nurturing LOAH to grow in its own way.
Inspiring, Kandi. And then what programs do you have at LOAH?
The programs we have, as I earlier mentioned, I am truly passionate about education and I love working with children. So mainly our programs revolve around environmental conservation, protection, and restoration. And how we do this, we mainly work with children aged 5 to 12. And our programs now revolve around environmental education that is mainly focused on the practical bit, not being like in a traditional classroom, but being mainly outdoors and allowing children to just connect, love, and grow a caring aspect of nature, and from that, hopefully inspire them to protect, to uh, nurture nature, and also to restore maybe what we see has been degraded. So we use environmental education as a means, and also we use art as a means of communicating and inspiring children to explore their creative sides. And how we do this is maybe by partnering with local artists who come sometimes and teach children how to create art from recycled glass, recycled cloth materials, recycled plastics. And from this, we're trying to find a solution to some of these challenges, such as pollution and all this landfill. And instead, now create like beautiful arts from it that children go with at home and decorate their homes. And you see that they see these challenges, you see not as challenges, but as solutions and as opportunities to create beautiful things, that you can create beauty out of what we call bad or something. So, and also now with the practical learning, for instance, how I inspire like even a lifelong lesson is, for instance, we have seasonal fruits. So let's say like right now, maybe we have avocados in season. So I encourage children to bring in like the seeds they eat at home. Be like, when you eat your seed, just come with it, and I'll show you how we can create a whole plant from it. And from there, they get the process. Like, we ate this avocado. Okay, let's take the seed to our like program in school, LOAH's program, and we propagate the seeds. And now I inspire them to take care of the plant, like the seed. They water them. When they have weeds, they will weed them. And soon enough, a seedling sprouts. And you know, it's always, oh my God, that's how a plant comes to being from just a seed. And also, it's a life lesson, like you're a seed and you need to work on yourself. There are days when there are challenges, maybe like the drought, and you need now to improvise ways on how to the plant will survive, maybe by mulching it, having it watered in a different way. So like it's a lifelong process. Like you don't just grow in a day. Like you have to go through a process. Plants of trees or anything they're taking care of. They also learn that more or less life is not like it doesn't happen in a day. So I have to appreciate challenges. I have to appreciate the rainy days when all things are working out according to plan. I also have to adjust to some of the challenges or situations that don't go as planned. So it's a beautiful journey for me to inspire young children and the younger generation to just connect and love the soil. You know, when it's their favorite, like playing with mud, playing with water, and just seeing them so happy. And sometimes you see children who are not so active in class, they are so active outdoors. And that's simply my joy. And just seeing that there's hope beyond all this. Like they just now trained. They are loving, they see a bee and they're like, oh, this is a bee, this is where honey comes from. And yeah, you see like all this behavioral change that comes along with this whole involvement and learning is my true inspiration and what keeps me going.
Wow, wow. You just mentioned like you're mentoring the kids aging from 5 to 14. How does it look like to mentor this small 5 years, 6 years old Kandi?
It's the most beautiful. I think honestly, it's something that is my greatest joy because these kids are so curious. They are so happy to learn. They're so happy to not, you know, how we are scared when we grow up. We have all these things. Oh, I can't touch cell now because I'll get dirty. They go all in. They're so in, like to just get dirty and play in nature and just make things out of nature and play with the art. Sometimes also like encourage them to make skits that communicate a message of like that is environmental based. So just seeing them explore their creative sides and how happy they are to see a seedling sprout, how
Mhm.
they just, I mean, like it's such a beautiful journey for me. Even for me, it's also been a learning process to live in the moment, to see like how they're just so happy in all these small things we think that are really small, like who even cares about a plant growing, like how they just love it and how they feel so proud of themselves that they took care of a seed that grew to a seedling. You know, it's also a journey, it's a life, it's a learning curve for me because I've learned to appreciate the small joys, to live in the moment, to not worry about tomorrow. Oh, what if there's a drought? What if this won't work? But just live with hope that this plant will grow because I have put so much love in it. You know, I brought it from home, brought it here, so it has to grow. You know how hopeful they are. So it's a wonderful journey that I would wish to have more people experience and maybe by working with us. So
Wow, I
it's
want to.
yes. Come to Kenya. Good. We'd be so happy to have you. Yes.
So
Yeah.
you mentioned just some of the challenges. So what are the challenges on the ground that you have at LOAH?
So one I'd say being a young person and starting a whole organization has not been the easiest journeys because it's taken work and perseverance to have anyone believe in my efforts. So one thing is I come from a very patriarchal society where women's voices are now worse, like a young woman trying to take up a leadership role in the community is not so welcome. And also, like we have all these great plans, but sometimes the main challenge is also finances. We don't have enough resources maybe to have more human resource, hire more human resource to work with us, or even experts. Maybe sometimes we have questions around soil or yeah, different ecological challenges that we wish to have experts, but we don't have the capacity maybe to have them work with us. And also, we would love these are great. Over the years now, people are so interested in our work, and different people invite us to come and work with them, maybe partner with their schools. But a great challenge is how to move and how to grow our scope because of finances, because of the transport system. We don't have like a vehicle in our organization to help us move. So it's those are a few challenges we have. And also we have this classroom, amazing classroom we built that is 100% eco-friendly, but we are hoping to like it's a way of another way that we communicate through like audiovisual learning. We know we're in a very digital world and
Mhm.
kids are just they're so driven to like seeing things move and everything. And also now another way we project our learning is through like now projecting, for instance, documentaries around wildlife and everything else that they are able to see before maybe we have like safari trips with them. and we don't have now like a lighting system in our classroom. So that's also a very big challenge. We are hoping to install solar in our classroom to enable our audiovisual learning. So these are a few challenges we are facing currently as an organization. But I believe this hope, there's that light on the hill despite we've come from a very long journey, and I believe there's hope, and I believe we'll have all these resources to grow and expand our efforts and make them more sustainable.
It's a long journey and so many challenges on the ground. So be honest, Kandi. Do you ever feel you want to give up with love?
Uh, yes, I was actually so much in that place in 2021. I was like, I've just had enough, especially because I had no partner. I just, it was so hard. Like, I was like, I am, quote unquote, so educated, I should be working and earning, blah, blah, blah. But I just remember my brother reminding me, know, there are these people who are always waiting for your Instagram posts. They actually motivate some people. And he was like, you now need to start posting again because we've missed your postings. Um, and despite all these challenges you're facing, I'm very sure that someone will definitely appreciate your work soon enough. And it's okay to have all these people who just say, oh, this is, I don't know, like not worthwhile even working with. Yes, I've had those moments, but I'd say I really appreciate my family being there for me. They've really stood with me, supported my work, believed in me, and that kept me going. I have had those days when I just wanted to quit, and just say, enough is enough. I have had so many of those days.
Wonderful story, Kandi. Wonderful story. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. And you were in the list of Global Landscape Forum Forest Restoration Stewards 2022. Congrats. Wow,
Thank
it was
you.
amazing. Yes, yes. And how's the story?
The story of me being a restoration steward, honestly, I'd say it's a miracle
Mhm.
because I remember it's one of those applications I made from a point of having so many rejections. So I was like, let me just do it, but I am not expecting anything from this. So I just shared my story. It was a place where I just shared my genuine story, what I'm doing. And I remember I submitted my application the second last day to the deadline. And I still remember a very beautiful video I made. Like I was lying on grass. I was like, yeah, let me just do this video. I was lying on grass, looking upwards. And it's funny that Anna from GLF was like, your video was so beautiful. And I was like, what? I made it before dusk. So I think it was a very genuine exploration for me in the application. I just shared my story and what I've been doing, and it was interesting having been shortlisted. And an interview was done, and I was like, okay, let me wait. But when now they announced the stewards, I think during COP, where was it? Unfortunately, in Glasgow, I don't think I made it for that first part. So I was like, yes, this is just another application I made, and yeah, just went to the drain. But the funniest bit was now last year, during my birthday, I
Mhm.
was like, now the program I'm in, like now in the US right now, I was like, this is the gift I'm giving to myself. I'm doing this interview today. It was a recorded interview, so I was like, let me just do this interview today. And like 1 week later, I received a direct message from Irene, and she was like, Hi, I'm from GLF, and you remember the application you had made last year? So we got extra funding for an African steward, and we are considering to have you if you're still interested. I was like, what? I was just like, these are the, you know how like hopeless I was. I was like, these are just those scam things that come to my Instagram. And but she was like, just check your email. And can you imagine they had sent that email on my birthday, like last year's birthday. So it was the best gift. So they were like, we're so sorry we never picked you. We had already picked another Kenyan and you're really good, but for on the drylands as a dryland restoration steward. So we had to pick someone from a different country at that time so that it wouldn't look so biased to Kenyans. But now we are so sure we want you. So I was so happy. Like, yeah, it was just a very humbling and happy moment for me to finally get a partner to work with me because that meant so much for me and for my work and for LOAH. So yeah, so that's the story behind GLF. So for me, it was like a second chance and a miracle story. So yeah.
Wow, wow. And then the next year, which is
Yeah.
2023, you were again listed as one of Global Landscape Forum 16 women restoring the earth.
Yes.
How do you feel?
So I'll just say GLF has been, I'd call them a family, has been that family that has really put me on a very global stage and allowed me to find myself, like sides of myself that I had no idea I had, like even being like the MC for the GLF Africa Week. Like I mean, like GLF has really appreciated my work in a very high note, and now listing me as among the 16 women, and even seeing now the ED, the executive director among the women, I was listed among, like that was so humbling for me, like what I just thought I was just a small girl in a village doing some small work, but they have truly um, made me believe more in what I do and also motivated my love. And now I'm like, I'm all going with all this work and it's valid. I'd say yes, I believed in my work. I love what I do, but actually they've improved and validated what I do, and I don't take that for granted. I'm truly grateful for all these opportunities and all these celebrations they have done for me. And so this is more or less like this celebration was a greater motivation to keep on going and keep not give up on my journey. And also it also gave me like an appreciation in my country. One of the national media's like platforms appreciated me on that day, and I was able to sit among other women doing amazing works around restoration and green energy and all the likes. And it was truly like, how you're like, what, how did I get here? So it's
Mhm.
been, I just say that I'm truly grateful and happy and motivated to keep on doing what I do, and also to inspire other people that it just takes genuine passion to make the change you seek to see, like, and to believe in whatever you're doing. Yeah. Yes.
All right, thank you. That's amazing. And aside of the kids, so now we are telling about the young people and also the community around you. How do you tell them, your community and youth around you, to fight for climate change?
Um, so I'd say that climate change is a topic that sometimes creates a lot of anxiety among the receivers and among people. Like if you hear climate change, you just think maybe the world is dying and we are doomed. But how I communicate this is through the just story I give you, like just through being an inspiration to people that yes, we have climate change happening, but it just takes those small efforts to try and reverse some of these challenges that have come due to climate change. Changes such as simple as just planting a beautiful flower you love in your backyard or in your garden. Changes such as just having a small kitchen garden in your just backyard. And just inspiring people to just connect and understand that we are all children of nature, that we really need a healed world. Like we need earth or we need nature more than nature needs us. So just creating an inspiration in people and in my community and among youth to just love and connect with nature. And if they are really inspired to love this nature, they are more capable of taking care of it. So, like for instance, not littering. You can just have your plastic bottle in your bag and go put it in a dustbin where it should be. At the end of the day, you don't have to just litter it. I am totally irritated by littering, by the way. So that is also one of the main motivations that um, led me to begin this story, because I just don't understand why someone would just throw some litter in there. So it's just all I seek to do is inspire people to just connect with nature, and from that they will grow a love for it, and be more motivated to take care of it in their own ways. Like for instance, if you have your personal car, yes, it's more comfortable, it's more, you have your personal space. But how about maybe once in a week, choose to use public transport and cut down the carbon emission, just understanding that we all have a role to play and we can play it in our own ways. Like you don't have to go there and be like Kandi, work with children or grow million trees to feel that you have reversed like climate change or anything. It's our own kind of small ways, like, doesn't have to be like this whole crisis or anything. Like we all have very small ways. And if you put up now, you combine all these small efforts, that's now how we will fill our planet. Yeah. So I just hope to create an inspiration among people to know it doesn't take like a whole forest to be like for you to plant like a million trees for you to feel that you restored the planet. It just takes so small intentional efforts to heal our planet. And all that's all I need. I want to inspire. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Kandi. And I'm wondering, what's your future goal in the next 5 years and years to come?
So I would say my future goal, I would just echo what I said, is to just create a generation of stewards, especially the younger generation now that I am so focused on working with, that grows up loving and just appreciating nature. And from that, we will have less, I believe we will have less of these challenges we have, like pollution, like all these challenges maybe we can list about that have caused maybe climate change or global warming. I just hope to inspire a generation of young stewards that truly protect nature genuinely, from a place where they understand why they need to restore it, not just because Kandi said and she's the big person and I have to do it, but just from a place of the fact that they also believe in the cause. So first of all, that's my greatest aspiration in my coming years to just inspire people, and especially the younger generation, to just grow up loving nature, because I believe that now we will have generations of people who are more conscious of nature and protecting it and just loving it. And also, as LOAH, I wish to see us grow in other parts of my country. We have these Kijani species. Kijani is a name for green in Swahili. So I hope to have different, and in Kijani we have like a greenhouse, we have now a learning center, we have an organic garden, vegetable garden, and we have a tree nursery. So I hope to have similar Kijanis within my country, maybe at least 5 more Kijanis within my country, and who knows, maybe in the coming future we can have Kijanis all over the world. So those are my inspirations, but my greatest being to just inspire other people to just grow a loving and desire to just protect nature and restore it to, so that kids who will be born many years to come can see different butterflies. I grew up around seasons when we have so many butterflies, but right now I hardly see any butterflies in my community. So I wish to restore that kind of environment that was so healing. Just seeing so many colored butterflies, and I would be so amazed, how does this even happen? So just inspire people who will work towards healing and restoring that kind of environment again.
Amazing. Last but not least, Kandi, what would be your message for young people about forest?
I would say my message is, I'll just drift away from forests a bit and just talk, because many when people hear forest, they just think of trees. But forests are an ecosystem of so many different things. Like, we have insects, we have birds, we have grass, we have different vegetations, we have rivers. I'll just say that nature is life, first of all, and say that, as I said earlier, that we need nature more than it needs us. I mean, from nature is where we get the air we breathe. Can you imagine if we had no air to breathe? We'll be dead. Of course, nature is life. Nature is where all these rivers flow in and among. Nature is where we get these beautiful shades. Nature is where we get all these beautiful fruits we love. Nature is where we get the food we eat. We love eating all these vegetables, all these herbs, and everything. So my call to youth is that we are the most energetic kind of generation there is right now, and you don't have to fully dedicate your entire time, like myself, to working for nature for you to contribute towards the good of nature. I mean, like the examples I just gave, like I know most of the youths live in the urban settings, so we can choose to have these days that we go in the parks and just sit in nature and just listen to the songs that birds sing, or listen to rivers flow, or just listen to the trees swing. And it's so healing. Like, I know we're in a world where there's so much pressure, there's so much uncertainty, but nature is so healing, and I would just encourage youths to love nature more, because I remember when I began this journey, I was seeing like I had become a loser in my life. I was doing dirty work. I was doing like work that should be done by uneducated people, and I just want to challenge that. I think it's one of the most rewarding efforts anyone can put in, because you're investing in life, you're investing in hope. So, and I would also encourage that youth lead by example. Be that person who reminds people not to litter. Just let's not dirtify our home. Like no one wants to live in a dirty place. So Earth is our home and we need to protect it. I know we all want to drive very fancy cars. Also, I love cars. So, but maybe for nature, one day in a week, choose to use public transport and we cut down on the carbon emission. Choose to walk sometimes if there's a place you can walk to instead of driving or using the public transport. Walk, it's even good for your health. I'll just say that we all have a role to play as youth, as children, as the older generation. We all have a role to play, and you don't have to feel the pressure that if you've not, quote unquote, planted or collected a certain kind of garbage, you've not contributed to anything. Maybe that wrapping of the candy you put in your pocket, that's all it takes. Like I just want to challenge people to appreciate the small efforts they intentionally put in towards conserving and caring for nature. Like all those beautiful, small, intentional efforts we all will choose to implement. That's all nature needs. That's all it will take to have and restore back our planet. So basically, that's my message. Yeah.
Thank you, Kandi. This is such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Kandi, again for sharing your inspiring story.
Thank you so much, Gundo, for having me. I appreciated the opportunity and the opportunity to just share my story, and I hope it inspires someone out there to be more loving towards nature.
You're very welcome, Kandi. And thank you everyone for joining us. Let's collaborate to make this world into a better place. I'm Gulo from Jadi PNS. Thank you and see you again.